Hey everyone, welcome back to Glitz and Glitter. So today I am fulfilling a order for my friend Jan. She loves everything beach and it's hard for her to say no when I make beach things, but she did request a clock. Let me see how big this one is. This is a 12-inch clock. And I will link the mold below and everything. But she wanted a beach-themed clock. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I did measure this one. This one holds 20 fluid ounces of resin. So I'm going to mix up 10 ounces. I'm going to mix up 8 ounces because I'm going to be mixing some sand in some of that. So I'm going to be splitting it into 3 sections, the sand, a little bit of clear, which will probably get blended with some blues or whatever. So I have 2 blues I'm going to use today, and these are resin dyes. This one is called Sky Blue. This I got from Temu. I'll try to find it. It's been a long time. And this is the Let's Resin Just Blue. So I'm going to do those 2 colors today. I haven't used resin dyes, but I thought it would last longer for her than using the alcohol inks into the resin, because I know alcohol inks can fade and I don't know if it's going to be in direct sunlight. I don't know where she's putting it. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to mix up 8 ounces of my casting resin just because I want to keep as little bubbles as possible. I really wanted to do my 4-hour, but I don't want bubbles if they don't need to be in there. So I'm going to mix that up, be patient with it. Maybe I'll put my heat mat underneath here. I don't know. I'll think about it. Anyway, be back in 1 second. Okay, let's get started. So I've mixed up the resin and I split it up. So each of these cups have 2 ounces each. I left 4 there for my sand and my clear. And if I have extra, I'll just add more blue. So what I'm going to do first is tint the resin, and then while I'm messing with the sand, I'm going to throw these 2 in the bubble remover machine after it's tinted, because I learned the hard way, if you tint it later, you're going to add more bubbles and then you have to throw it through the machine again. So I'm just going to get it colored first, transparent, and then run it through the machine. So you'll probably hear the machine in the background. I do apologize, but I don't want it sitting here waiting and then another 5 minutes in the machine after I'm done messing around with the sand. So this is going to be the lighter blue. This is the Sky Blue. And then the other one will be called Blue. And there should be a nice difference between the 2. So that's a pretty color. I'm happy with that one. We're going to put this one away. Now let's try this one. So we're going to do this in 2 layers like I did my big huge scene, because if you try to do waves on this layer, they're not going to come out that nice. I'll probably make a mess blowing them out when it's filled to the top, but I'd rather try that than have bad waves come through. So that's still a little transparent. I'm going to add a little bit more. And I don't even have to fill it to the top, because once the waves are done, I can just do another top coat. But I know when I take the heat gun to the waves tomorrow, they're probably going to be splattering all over. But we'll find out. There's the one color. There's the other color. I think that'll look great. So let me get these put in the machine, and then I will come back and get started on the sand. All right, I'm gonna start with about half a cup of sand. Not really half a cup, but half of this Dixie cup, which probably holds 4 ounces, I'm saying. I'm not sure. I'm gonna add my resin to the sand because I don't want to overdo it. I want it nice and thick so I can get it where it goes and not move out of its place, floating around in the resin. So anytime I do additives to my stuff, I try to add the resin to the additive before I put it in, for that reason. Because if I add too much resin, there's going to be a like a layer of clear, and it's going to let everything move. Either let everything move in a mold like this, or it will have like a clear layer to it. After everything else sunk, then you're going to have a clear layer. So if you do it like this, you only add as much as you need, because it's already coated in resin. It's going to stick together. You don't have to have it swimming. I do want a little bit more because I do want to be able to manipulate it. Whoops. Now this mold has these pieces here, which are where the numbers are. So make sure your clock is situated the way you want it, so that one is at the bottom, one is at the top. And these will be cut out, so whatever wall color that the person has, or whatever they're putting behind it, is what's going to be seen through those pieces, because those will be empty. Let me just move this out of the way. This is not the best mold. It is kind of flimsy, but it's the one that she wanted, so I'm just gonna deal with it. I mean, usually Temu molds are really pretty good, but for some reason this one is kind of thin. I'm gonna add a little bit more because I can't really manipulate it that well this thick. And I just want the thinnest layer possible, because I do need to do another layer on top of this. Tomorrow. So we're going to let this cure overnight, or unless I decide to put the heat mat on, it'll be a few hours, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. So just make your beach line however you want it, whether in this mold or another one. I want a pretty decent beach on here, but thin again, like I said. I want to be able to put another layer of resin on top. I'm also going to be putting in some seashells in here. So you need it to be thin so they don't stick out. I mean, I guess 3D seashells aren't bad because you're not using it as a bowl or anything. It's just going to be up on the wall. So actually 3D seashells would probably look pretty cool, but we'll see what happens. And it doesn't have to be flat. Obviously, the seashore line is not a flat line. So I want a little bit of curves to it. Actually, that's probably the exact amount that I need. Isn't that funny? Not much left in here. Sounds like the blue is done. I'm just trying to get it thin, yet not see through it. That's what I'm working on here. That looks pretty good. Just gonna wipe a little bit where I don't want it. All right, let me grab the blue. You do have to spray the tops when you get them out just to pop the rest of the bubbles, but didn't do a very good job this time. I wonder if it's because I had it in these cups. Okay, so I'm going to, I guess, pour my dark. My light. I do want to kind of combine them. I will get my heat gun out to help that. Get off of there. And then my clear. After I scrape this one. And then clear. It looks like 8 ounces was good, because the sand took up the other 2 ounces of space that I had to work with. So I'm just going to heat gun it here for a second. Now I'm just going to kind of combine the blues a little bit better. So it doesn't have that hard line. And remember, the waves are going to go up over this as well. Now I'm going to take a few starfish and shells and I'm just going to randomly place them in here. Oops. It's easier with tweezers, but I forgot to grab them. A lot of these are probably going to be sticking up, but like I said, it's a clock, so it shouldn't make too big of a difference. Stick a little pearl in here. I think I'm gonna grab one more starfish for down here. Where did I do with them? Here they are. If I could find one that's not broken. Yeah, maybe I'll find a tiny one. All right, what do you think? Leave it alone? I think I'm going to leave it alone. Maybe I'll not leave it alone. Maybe I'll not leave it alone. Hang on, I want to put a shell by that starfish. It looks lonely. Sometimes less is more, right? That's what I'm gonna go for. All right, I'm gonna give it a quick squirt in case there's bubbles. Not that we're gonna see them later because of the waves, but I think that's good for now. I will be back when this is cured. I forgot my trademark, you guys. My glitter. I'm going to put some glitter in the sand. Golden. Chunky, fine, medium mix. This is my crown of gold that I love so much, especially for stuff like this. Not a lot, but I do have to put my trademark in there. Nice sparkling beach. I don't want it up there, so keep it in the sand. There, not too bad. Trying to get it off my gloves. Okay, now that I got it in the sand, I do need to get it out, or in the water. Although, it'll be covered with waves. Okay, now I'm gonna let it cure. Okay, you guys, I'm so nervous. So this is cured. It's been probably 7-8 hours. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna let it cure overnight. It's like 12:30 at night. What I'm doing differently, I'm gonna try my tabletop epoxy for this one. I've never used the tabletop to do waves before. And the only reason I'm choosing this one, it's really late at night. And I don't want to mix my resin and wait 30 minutes or 20 minutes to let it get thick, because this one is already automatically thick. I put aside a little bit for my white. So I drained this big paddle. This is the big one, not the small one. It made a lot of bubbles in my resin. I don't know if it's because it's a tabletop or if it's because the paddle was too big for the cup. I'm not sure, but it made a lot of bubbles. Hopefully we'll get rid of them. I've got my heat gun ready, and what I'm going to do is pour. I made 6 ounces because I'm not going to go over the sand right now. So I basically just want to pour just above where the lines are going to go. Because as I let it sit here for a few minutes, it's going to probably drop. So I just want it to get settled before I start making my waves, because I don't really want the clear to go below the wave. And then I don't have enough room in this mold to do another wave tomorrow with another layer. So either I'm going to just do the one wave right here and do another one there right now. I'll either do 1 or 2. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to see how it turns out. So I'm just going to let this kind of sit. I want it to come down a little bit farther though. I mean, this stuff is really thick and it sets up much faster. That way, when you're doing tabletops and things like that, it's not going to drip off the edge very long. So that is one good thing about this one. Whether it creates waves like I want or not, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. So I'm just going to heat gun some of these bubbles out. Now, I have the best luck making waves with my Just Resin Titanium White. That's just my go-to one to make them. I have all kinds of white pigments. I have so many of them. And I have tested them all, and this one is the best for cells for some reason. Now, the best way to get cells is to heat it, obviously, and then torch it. I'm just going to get this one out of there. I didn't want to dip my resin in my white. So I'm just going to let this sit here for a couple of minutes and make sure it's done moving and figure out how many waves I'm going to do. And then tomorrow, what I'll do is mix up my normal casting resin, and I'm going to cover the entire clock. It'll have more to cover down here because I'm not filling this part, and less to cover there. Let's see, I'm going to spray. I'm always nervous doing waves every time, especially now that I'm on YouTube. People are watching me. Now I feel more pressure. It was bad enough before I was on YouTube. I'm just kind of watching. I don't think it's moving much. See, that's why I like the tabletop. It's nice and thick. And it is not moving at all. So I guess I'm just gonna go for it. What's the worst that can happen, right? I'm just getting at the very edge of my clear. So when I do push it, it's gonna kind of go up and over the the edge of the clear. I don't really want too much white. I just need to fix this edge right here because it did sink before I got to it. That lacing looks great. Let's see. I don't want that there. How can I fix this? I'm going to have to prop this up a little bit with a stick. So I don't want it going that far. That's better. Just pour some clear right here. See if I could get that pushed out. So let's see. So what I'm going to do here is just go along this edge to get a nice white line. I don't know if I want to do another wave, so that's why I'm kind of just watching it here for a second. I'm going to spray some alcohol over here. Trying to make some cells over here, but that's not working. And the more you mess around with waves, the less cells, because I like these cells, I don't want to ruin them. And the second I turn this on again, it's going to take those away. So unfortunately, you don't have a lot of choices when you're doing waves. You get what you get. I don't know if I should try one up here or not. It's going to end up blowing my resin, I think, out of there. I think maybe I'll just try a little bit. Just a small one. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Well, let's try it. Gonna do do it now. I have a feeling that's going to shrink back. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to let it sit here for 10-15 minutes, and I'm going to redo that one there, but I'm going to let this one kind of stay as it is. Okay, so basically I just heated that one back up and moved it around. That's why you do one wave at a time, because trying to make a wave in a deep resin, it's not going to work. You have to have that line, like on the edge here that we used, you have to have that line. But it doesn't look horrible, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I did kind of move it around a little bit to manipulate it. And I'm going to leave that. I'm going to touch this up a little bit and let it just cure, and then we're going to coat the whole thing tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. Everything's cured. I have 6 ounces mixed up. I'm going to just cover the whole thing. But then we still won't be done, because I want to let you know what's going to happen when we pull this out of the mold and we put the clock device on the back of this. It's a black piece. As you can see my hand, you will see this black square in the back. So we do have to put something on the back. So I will either be covering it with resin, white resin. I'll probably spray paint it though. So it definitely has to be covered. When you do a transparent clock, you'll see the mechanism motor in the back of it. So we will have to do that. So let's get this top coated and finished off first before we worry about that step. But I did pick up all the parts today, so I have everything ready to put it together. We just have to figure out how I'm going to cover up the motor parts. So this is just simple. Just pour it on. It's going to be deeper on this side, obviously, because this side didn't get the wave, and a lot less deep over here. So just put it on and spread it out. I don't know if I'll need more. I may need a little more, but I will worry about that in a minute. It is cured. It's time to come out of the mold, and then we are going to have to fix the back because we're going to be able to see through it. Right now it's on a white mold, so it looks like you could see everything without any hindrance. But once we take it out of the mold, it's going to be transparent, which means you're going to be able to see the clock mechanism in the back. And I don't want to be able to see that. I have some overspill here I need to trim. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Oh, I fused. I don't even remember using a torch. But I just, shoot. Did I use a torch? I don't know. It's been a few days. I fused the mold to that right there. Oh, okay, it came off. All right, so see what I mean? We could see everything behind here. Here's the little mechanism that's gonna go through here, and you can see that. I don't wanna see that. So the next thing I'm going to do, well, the first thing I'm going to do is trim all these little bits. Make sure there's nothing sharp and, you know, hanging over the edge. Making sure everything's gonna be good. So I'm gonna trim everything, get this off. And then I'm going to go and spray paint the whole back of this white. I'm gonna tape up this edge so the paint doesn't get on the edge. I'm gonna spray paint with white, and then I'm gonna go over it. I don't think I have a gloss white because I don't use gloss paints with resin. So after it's painted white, I'm going to use a clear sealer just to hold that paint in. So, oh, that's part of the wave. So let me get to some trimming, and I will come back once it is painted and ready to put back together. Let's finish this beautiful clock up. All right, there's the front. Here's the back, painted, sealed. Should be good just to hang on a wall, but that way you could see the blue transition of colors. You could still see the waves. I'm gonna call those clouds at this point more than waves. Okay, so in order to put this together, you need your motor, and in the motor parts comes a little rubber, I don't know what it's called, a little rubber round thing. So make sure that it's pointing toward your 12, your hanger. And this one with all these parts is not going through, whoops. It's not going all the way through. Let me see. I might have to go buy a longer one. This threaded part here, oh, the black piece is still on there, but I still think if I take this black piece off, which is just a buffer, what we need is we need these gold threads to pop through so we could screw the nut and bolt on. And mine is not coming through enough, so you can't see the gold. So I will have to go and purchase a longer one, unfortunately. So I will be right back. And just like that, I go to the store and I am back. So this one has a much longer one. This is longer than I needed, but it's the only other one that they had. And it has a little different wall hanging, but it can still be hung from there. So I put the little plastic or rubber piece on. Again, make sure it's pointing towards your 12. Pop that through the bottom. And we're going to nut and bolt it on. You have two little pieces here. This one goes on first, then your nut. Just get that nice and tight. Now your hands do come with a little plastic covering on them. So you do have to kind of get a knife and pull this little covering, otherwise it's gonna look pretty dull. What did I do with the, oh. Just grab something to tighten this with. It's not exactly the right tool, but it'll work. Okay, and that is still pointing towards my 12. Now I don't know, this one came with hands too, but I kind of wanted to use these. So I'm not sure if it's universal or if I have to use the hands. This is a different brand. So I might be able to use this one. Hopefully. So after the minute hand, there's another tiny little nut that goes on top of that. I learned on the last clock that I had Don put together for me. because I couldn't get it. And I might not even be able to screw this little tiny thing on, so I might need to go get him. Once this nut is in place and tight, oh, did I do it? I think I did. So I'm just going to get that tight, and then the second hand goes right. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Has a little tiny needle nose, and you just press it right in the center. Let's put a battery in. See if it's working. That is so pretty. I hope you like it, Jan. Let's see here. It's working. It was working. It moved. What happened? I might have that little nut too tight. I might have to... I really screwed it on there tight too, so... There we go. So that nut can't be too tight or it won't move properly. It's just there to hold this off of this one. All right, that is it, guys. That is the end. I will get you some pictures of this a little bit better than what you're seeing now. Thanks for hanging in there with me today. I hope you guys all have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.